Hey, what's up, guys? We're back, and today we're going to be talking about T-Side Ancient because, quite frankly, I should have made this video a little bit sooner, and I just kind of forgot. Now, it's coming to my attention that some of you guys watch these videos and just kind of forget to subscribe to the channel. Before we get right into it, if you could do me a favor and sub to the channel if you've watched the previous videos and you enjoyed them. If not, you can stick around, check it out, and decide for yourself after the video is done. So T-Side videos are always a little bit more tricky because it's a little bit more like philosophical. That's a big word for me, but we got to talk more about how to play this map in general and kind of what's the easiest way, especially in your pickup games, of just kind of navigating the map and some easy things that you can implement and do in your own games. Before we can get into my favorite video that I've ever made, we're going to talk today about today's video sponsor, cs.money. So for those of you that have watched my stream for a while, know that cs.money's worked with me for a very long time, and I've always used their site. They have fast trades. I'm usually in and out of the site in probably like 5 minutes. I don't even think there's been a time where I've looked up a skin and they don't have it. Sometimes you have to do a couple filters to find the right skin, but it just takes a few minutes and you can find anything you ever want on there. Last but not least, they do any payment method you could want. They got card, PayPal, crypto. You're good to go. Now, something some of you might not be as familiar with, they do now have also a marketplace where you can do peer-to-peer. Has lower prices and there's discounts on there. They also, if you just don't want the hassle of anything, you can instant sell and cash out on the spot right away, and you just have to click the icon in the top right. I would greatly appreciate if you guys do a trade on that website, that you use my link that'll be in the description below. I also want to just add a little side note, guys. This isn't a part of the sponsored thing. So many people get scammed. Be very careful. Ideally, if you have a sponsored link similar to like mine right now from somebody you trust, make sure you're always clicking on the safe sites and not accidentally getting fished and going to a different one and losing all your inventory. That's the last thing anybody wants. Now let's get you back into the video. So getting right into T-Side Ancient, really you should be thinking of this map as really sending 3 players towards B at the start or 3 players towards mid. Now I realize in pickup games and your games it's not always going to be the case, but in a perfect world I'm just trying to lay it out for you so you know what it looks like. If 3 people move towards B, ideally you got 2 people kind of working for this cheetah or jaguar area, whatever you want to call it, and 1 guy keeping an eye on ramp, and then you have 2 people kind of coming together mid, or you have 3 people going mid elbow on T side, and maybe like 2 people kind of slowly working their way up cat, jaguar, but making sure they're not getting squeezed from both sides at the same time. Now, this is probably not going to happen in your games, and I'm not going to give you some delusional video like you're going to play like Team CS. But it's an important thing to think about and understand, because really T-Side Ancient is really hard to play in these types of environments because it requires a little bit of teamwork from your mates. And I'm just going to kind of show you what you want the round to look like, and then maybe different ways that you individually can find a way to make an impact in your own games, even if you don't have a 5 stack or whatever. So what do I mean by that? Well, at a basic level, you really just want to have 1 person smoking off red at the start of the round, which is, mid house. There's a bunch of videos for instant smokes and all that kind of stuff, but for practical purposes, just come to the middle of this block and spawn. You see the 2 fat bricks with the big old butt cheeks, just aim right there. It's not the fastest lineup, but you have a consistent lineup for red. And you can pair that together with aiming at the middle of the tree and just throwing some flashes for your teammates when they come out mid. And these are just regular jump throws. That's kind of how you want to have one person starting the round. That's something you can do for your teammates. Another important thing that you can do for your teammates is coming here and mauling what I call shelf. And the reason you do this is because if you're playing against some confident people, they're going to be down mid. There's going to be tons of util right here. And that molly on shelf allows your B players to kind of navigate their way up cat without getting absolutely bombarded from 3 different angles all at once. With 1 singular molly, you made it so your teammate is now not getting shot from 2 places at once. And that's the kind of stuff that this map forces you to do. On a very basic level, things that I always want to try to see even in my own games. This is why I make these videos. It's not for you, it's for me, man. Is a red smoke, like a shelf molly. And if you're really fancy, you get a cool teammate that goes back here and he smokes off jaguar. Flom, what is all this? Like, dude, I can't do this in my game. So like what I mean is, if you got the front spawn, which let's talk about both those together, there's 2 spawns that you really want to utilize the most, which is this front spawn right here and this front spawn over here, which will be great for contesting jaguar. With this front spawn for mid, you could rush out mid, but if they're dropping a lot of util, you can just come here and do exactly what I talked about and molly your teammate shelf. Even if you don't smoke red, that's really powerful to do for your team. If you have the front cave spawn, what I call it, you can go up cat. And if you're playing up higher level, you just want to pre-smoke this. If they don't know the catwalk molly, don't worry, neither do my level 10 teammates. You just get up here and then you just want to throw that molly right off the wall. And that's going to give you cheetah control or jaguar control. And this is incredible because if you can do this, you just shrunk down the map so much versus the CTs. Now keep in mind, if you have the best spawn and you throw this molly I'm showing you, they can choose to run through it. Just use your ears. You're going to hear them. Use your pre-aim. Take that 1v1. They have to run through the molly, and you get to pick when you want to take the fight. If you can deny information in these areas from the CTs, this map feels incredibly small for them, and you have a lot of advantages entering the sites because these sites are very small, very hard to hold, and can be like segmented off by utility very easily. This map is not friendly for solo queue. If you are playing solo queue, the options that you're really going to have are taking a lot of duels up B ramp early and trying to hit this aim map, or getting comfortable getting through mid with all the bombardment of nades. That's really going to be the places where you find the most value. And so let's just strictly talk about if you're solo queuing real quick. If you're solo queuing and you're like having a really rough go at it and you get this spawn, something that'd be really powerful for you to get comfortable with is just running mid. You're just going to come here. If they know some nades, perfect. You just bounce the nade off this. This is going to chunk a guy for about 40 when he runs down, and you're just going to look for fights here. Now, keep in mind, obviously, they're going to have utility, and they're going to throw it at you, so it's going to be a learning experience for you. But just something as simple as that nade and combination of taking this duel will allow you to isolate some fights. Now, also, if you're completely solo queue and you don't have teammates smoking off red for you, that's going to be hard to progress at this point. So I would not recommend really peeking red, because people are just going to be sitting up there unless you're really confident in your aim, which then go for it. Forget it. You're Nico, and you're probably going to kill 3 anyway. Another good path to do is if you have that front spawn for cave like we were just talking about, take that spawn and take cave control. You're going to see a lot of success by being able to just take that spawn, smoke if they molly cat, and molly off this. This is going to give you insane map control. But if you do this, you're going to need to ask a teammate to molly shelf for you to get up here. Otherwise, there's a good chance that a guy just runs down mid and shoots you in the side while you get up catwalk here. These are some great solo queue options. So you kind of have a few options now. Let's just say you're in a perfect world and you're able to get cave and you're able to get mid. Some great ways to end these rounds is to have a little bit of util thrown, whether that's a left side door smoke here, or a left side B smoke rather, sorry. And some flashes for you guys to get out cave, or maybe you want to help your cave player scale. So what you can do here is get out here in this cutout, aim at this little gap, and you just do a regular left click. And that's cool because if you throw that for your teammate that just took Jaguar, he can come in here without getting swung from the side, so he can progress and clear this on his own. Another good way to pressure is if you have mid, smoke off donut, and then go take red after your team took mid at the start of the round. This really creates a lot of pressures for the CT because they can't rotate through mid. They don't have mid. And if you get inside red, you're cutting off all the rotations to the bomb site. And more than likely, somebody knows this on their side and is going to get a little curious and potentially give you a 1v1. Little side note, though, there's a lot of shadow angles here. I'm not going to go through all of them here, but it's going to take some practice to get used to. So if you want to try this, it's really strong. Just keep in mind that your shadow is massive in this area, and you should play so accordingly. You may have noticed I haven't really talked about A at all, and that's because your teammates suck, and going A is going to be absolutely miserable. At a very high end of the game, most people put their opera here and they just crutch it and they just farm. I imagine even in lower levels, when little Timmy gets the op and he starts opping around A, your team's going to really suck at utility, but 2, and most importantly, they're going to suck at spacing. Everybody at lower levels, and even at my level, they hear the op go boom, and everybody freezes and they get nervous. They lose all the timing in the world, and they just make it like shooting fish in a barrel for this guy. However, it is still sometimes good to go A. So we're kind of turning into a smoke tutorial a little bit, but just to show you 2 very easy smokes that you can throw in your own games. Get in this corner, top left of the square. That's CT smoke. Then the donut smoke is center of the stairs, and obviously this one's my favorite. And then you go up 2 diamonds, and I aim to the right, and that'll smoke off donut for you. So if you can convince your teammates to stop being stupid and just give you the smokes, you can throw both those for them. And then also, if you want to get a little tricky, just bounce a molly right there. It's super simple, very powerful, prevents them from pushing in CT. And then all your teammates got to do is avoid little Timmy with the op. They'll probably fail at that, but you did your part. And that's just like a really simple util set that you can use to take towards A. I recommend when your teammate sucks at running up catwalk, your teammates have 0 cohesion in taking mid, they can't really take cave control. This is the type of stuff you need to do. You need to be like, guys, somebody give me a smoke. And you're just going to be like, all right, smoking CT. You're going to be here, I'm smoking donut. And you're going to be like, all right, I'm flashing. All right, one guy just died to little Timmy. And you're hoping that they get out there and one guy scales and you throw this molly. And you've done everything you can, okay, as one person. Or you have zero faith in your team whatsoever. You say, guys, forget it. You suck. Just rush B. Come here, side of the box, aim at the bottom of this. And just tell them to rush B. Maybe if you can convince one of them to not be totally stupid, they'll even buy a smoke and drop it on the molly when they run up the ramp. So we talked about splitting B. We talked about getting into red control and splitting the map in the rotations. But let's talk about ending A. If your team's able to get out mid and you know nobody's coming off cat, or maybe you just got out mid and somebody's watching cat, a good way also you can end the round is just by getting into donut and forcing this player in the bomb site all the way back. What I mean by that is red's still smoked, or you have maybe somebody close to red, whatever it is, you're in the mid round, you have control of mid. Just make sure you bounce a little flash like here, just in case there's a little opper holding inside donut. Try to recommend dropping a molly behind here, force anybody out. You want to get in this area. Now, once you're here, this is a good spot. Like even if you're not committing to A, doing something like this is really powerful. You can jump spot across here, see if maybe the player's opping brokey, jump back, that type of thing. Don't make it easy for the opper if he's there. And if for whatever reason your team's like, all right, let's end A, and you happen to have a smoke or you can hustle somebody for one, just get in this corner, aim at the top of this, and this is just a quick little CT smoke you can throw. And that's powerful because it'll help with the rotations coming in. Then you want to jump across. The big thing is you want to avoid that opera on the brokey angle. That's where he's going to be. And then you want to come up, clear the right, and then swing here with your teammates and clearing this. If you have an A main lurk, that's obviously a bonus. And then you get here and you want to just lock down the site. Donut control is really good, even in rounds where you don't end up going A, because it just forces them to have to worry about it. If you can do that and then even maybe sneak your way up to red if you're on like a solo mission, more than likely you're going to be holding 2, if you're really good, 3 players' attention. And that would even open up the map for your teammates if they started walking up catwalk to B, they ignored whatever you were saying. That's just something that you can do to create pressure, paranoia, be that annoying player on the other side of the map, even if your team doesn't end up committing to A. Just keep in mind that once you get into donut and you use a little bit of util to get in here, just be mindful of that opper. That's really what you want to avoid the most. That's the scariest thing in these scenarios, is avoiding that op. This map is hard, and this map on T side requires you to play with your teammates. If you don't play with your teammates, your options on this map are so limited. I have this even in my games. Don't try to play the right way or do like some higher level of CS is what it feels like to you, or what you think is the right way to play the round, when it's just not working with your team. Sometimes your team's just gotta run it down B, and sometimes your team just gotta walk explode A, and those are your options. And I might not sound fun, but sometimes you just gotta make it work to get the dub. So hopefully those little bit of nades and this kind of like general thinking can help you recognize that in your own games, and you have a little bit more success. So if you guys have made it this far in the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. And in the comments, we're kind of running out of the maps for this series in this style. So if there's a different type of guy that you guys like to see, different type of content for me to talk about, something that you might be struggling with in your own game, leave a comment down below and we'll check it out and we'll see what series we're going to cook up next.